I have an update on my laptop. It's interesting what happened there. I took it apart to re-grease put the paste on again so that the heat would conduct better from the CPU to the heatsink and so forth. And I put it back together, battery was completely flat and it wouldn't charge. That was bad. So I left it a couple of days. I ordered a brand new battery for it, which was great, from Ninja Bat, by the way. Very exciting stuff. For 25 bucks. It was supposed to be 40. I got it for 25. Very nice. And these batteries, they come pre-charged, so I can go and put the battery in, the new battery, assuming it's pre-charged at least to a certain extent, and then I can see if the laptop reboots and works fine. So that gives me an indication, is it just something that has to do with the charging port, or is the laptop completely broken, by my own hand, of course. And lucky for me, the laptop did boot. My MacBook Pro did boot with the new battery. And so that's good. So everything is functional again. I put it back together correctly. That's good to know. And then I put the charger in and it still wouldn't work. So I thought, what's going on there? It turns out that there is something called the SCM, whatever BIOS type thing that the Mac has, something like the system memory, whatever, that can be reset. And that sometimes clears up spurious issues. So I tried that. I think it's Command, Control and Shift and Power together. Hold that for 10 seconds. Then release all those buttons and then boot the laptop again. See if that has cleared up the issue. It hasn't done that. So that wasn't it. But it's no problem. I decided to take the whole laptop apart again and see if there's any old connection that I've missed. I thought at first maybe the charging connector into which the MagSafe thing plugs in would maybe be, I don't know, wonky or whatnot. Turns out it's a tiny little board held in place with two screws from which a connector goes onto the board. And when I screwed this whole thing together, I must have accidentally dislodged that connector. So the connector was just not plugged in. So hey, that was the problem. But the thing is in a really awkward place. So it goes around one of the screws that holds the main board in place. And what happens is that the cable that attaches the MagSafe connector to it is threaded around that screw. And when I screwed the board back into the laptop, what happened was that I accidentally frazzled one of those wires. So I dislodged the plug from the board, but I also frazzled one of the wires. So frazzled, it wasn't disconnected, but it was certainly, the insulation was slightly roughed up, and I think a couple of silver wires were coming out, and it was kind of, not something that I wanted to put back together. I could have done it in an emergency, or I could have re-insulated the whole thing, but I don't know what wire that is. If it's ground, it doesn't matter, but if it's in fact whatever 20 volts or whatever the thing uses to charge up itself, then we have a problem, because it would kind of electrocute the rest of my laptop. Not such a good idea. I also don't actually, in full disclosure here, I don't know if I did it or if someone else did it, because my laptop has been taken apart twice by professionals back in London. Once when I had an issue with my SSD. I think the regular cable that connects the hard drive with the main board is kind of an inferior thing that can't handle the data rates of an SSD. So I opened it up, put an SSD in myself, and all of a sudden I'm getting beach ball issues. So for that reason, it was still under warranty back then. I brought it back to the Apple store in Covent Garden, and they repaired it for me free of charge. They came to the conclusion it was just the cable that needed to be taken out. And I also had, what else was it? I think there was new RAM that they put in, and it's one of those things I never knew what the professionals did there. So it could be that it was like that for a while, because I do remember quite clearly sitting on the balcony every so often when the laptop was plugged in, charged from the wall, and it's slightly humid in the air. I do get a little bit of a electrocution feeling in my hand, just a little bit of a Kriegstrom, I believe is the German word for it. I'll have to look it up, don't know what that means in English. So yes, that is something I did get. So it makes me wonder, maybe that wire was frazzled you know, for a while. So I googled the part number, and it turns out it's available for anywhere between $5 and $10 on anywhere between eBay and Amazon. So I ordered one, which should be here today or tomorrow. So rather than re-insulate this thing and try to make it work again, I decided to just, you know, treat my laptop to another new part. So it gets a new battery, it gets that new little electric board, whatever thing, and it also gets new feet. What can we do? What can we do? There's only so much room in the road, isn't there? So yes, that's what I'm treating my laptop for. And because I was so excited by that new battery manufacturer that I found there, Ninja Bat, I decided also to give my wife's laptop, the MacBook Air, the new battery treatment, because hers suffers more than mine, and her laptop is still holding like 3 to 4 hours charge, but it is certainly not as long as it once was. So $50, no, actually it wasn't 50, it was supposed to be 50, 55. With several discounts, I got it for something like 34, which was awesome. So yes, that is on its way too. And then, you know, we could start NaNoWriMo with fresh batteries and overhauled laptops and fresh software and all that. Just makes that writing process that much easier, I think.